what it is. Every revolution or every political movement or any kind of change, and having someone, okay, CIA, which is fucking for you to call me CIA when you know I'm not.
Everything was politicized. It was, oh, this is when we became the left versus the right. But both sides are trash. In COVID,
his own thing. So it seems to be that money's the issue, that like we're using money and that's how politics is being pushed. Because now we've seen what someone does when they use their own money and it doesn't seem to be a solution. So I feel like we take money out of politics, we'll have a much better political system.
Politician, you think they're gonna come out and tell me the truth? They was lying to my mama. They ain't gonna never tell us.
So everybody, we look at certain things just because, oh, this happens in the hood or we see this every day. All the way up. These people were speaking truth. King, we could talk X, we could talk it all. They were speaking truth.
What's going on in anyone's mind, but let's take it as a given that Gray's argument is true, that the argument to not have ID is that it would be discriminatory versus certain socioeconomic brackets or something. It's like
the world's greatest trial run of what people will do and what people won't do. And we are the only country on the planet that really fought against the government. A lot of it,
because you focus on 80-20 issues. I'm looking at the Epstein issue as we have 80% of the information we need to prosecute these people that actually did anything, but you're focusing on the 20% trying to take down Donald Trump, which you're never going to get. So I'm going to keep sitting here with a smug-ass face on every single day.
I'll explain. Good question. I'll give you the answer. The Republican Party constantly talks about transgenders and transgender surgery to minors.
I'm mostly on the left, ideologically, but I don't associate with the Democrats because they're not ideologically on the left. The Democrats are clowns, and they're also losers.
About to be any engaging conversation. It's not about to be any discourse about different political ideologies, what works and what doesn't. If that is the outcome, right? For example, I'm not going to go and just put myself in the middle of a KKK rally.
Verify me, I'm not a fucking Fed. They always do this. I'll say this, right? But they did the same thing to Nick. We've seen the video. They'll call people who are genuine and authentic Feds because
the interesting thing to me is that the ones that claim that they believe the Constitution are now trampling the Constitution. The ones that said they believed in the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, right, are now going against the freedom of speech.
Perspective.
They don't have no plan. They don't ever talk about nothing positive about the Democrat Party. Everything is just anti-Trump. They're not willing to have a conversation. They call us fascists. We willing to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk's willing to have a conversation.
Exactly 80 million Trump supporters for our president and for the agenda to sweep our nation of these migrants. The violent migrant crisis is here. Minnesota is exactly what we want to avoid. It is going to be the next London. Minneapolis is the London. Minneapolis is London. Minneapolis is London. The Muslims have taken over. The Muslims have taken over. They're stealing their children's future. They're stealing their children's future.
This is not a white America, motherfucker.
It is white America, baby. This is white boy winter. White boy winter.
Somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read
of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. Just as I say, we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you're too arrogant. You don't change your ways. I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm gone.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Lion roar na the mountain high, smoke rise up, touch Jaja's sky.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Man Cave. It's a Nora Christine takeover. The ladies are here. The fellas are here. Y'all can say y'all introductions.
It's Mia.
Okay, Billions, what's happening?
I'm Doc.
I'm Skeptics.
It's Rippy Unfiltered.
And today on the Man Cave, it is a very, very sad day for me in this country. I'm sure the other Christians on the line will understand where I'm coming from. John said it best. I don't recognize this country anymore. Before we get to the topic about Don Lemon, we are going to talk about Jake Lang. That first clip that you guys saw was a mashup between Jake Lang's speech that he gave in Minnesota. And it's like a bad joke. A white supremacist walks into a liberal protest and gets saved by a black man, a Muslim, and a tranny. I don't know how else to call it, but God has a funny way of doing things. Doc, what do you think? Did you hear what happened?
Yeah, I heard what happened, and I seen some of his clips. I would try to stay clear of it because he kind of a goofy. But when you get out here and you have that type of energy, I feel like he got what he was looking for. You know what I mean? And only, you know, they say God only spares babies and fools. You know what I mean? God only protects babies and fools. So he ain't no baby. So I guess we just have to assume that he a fool, because all those same people that he hate and he talk bad about it, he bash. If you go watch all of his content, them the same people here to protect him. Couldn't have been me putting my foundational black life at risk all in the comments. You know what I'm saying? I would have just had to watch him get beat down and made content out of it. That's what he do.
Well, let's play the clip of the man that helped him. You bring it up. He's a black man. I'm going to also play after why he said he helped him.
Hey, go, bro. Go. Just go. Just go. Let him go, y'all. Let him go.
So DeAndre, what do you think about the attack that he was under? People are comparing it to, unfortunately, your friend Charlie Kirk being unalived. Do you think it's comparable, and what do you think?
No, I don't think it's comparable because, well, the reason why, first off, I'm very disappointed that you're wearing that hat representing this evil dictator, fascist person named Donald Trump. But anyway, with that being said, it reminds me of it's a movie called Die Hard with a Vengeance. I know Ken has seen this. I know Doc has seen this. I'm pretty sure me has seen it, and so did you, Nora. I don't know about Skeptic. Hopefully you did. But it's a scene where Samuel Jackson was out there with the sign on that says I hate N-words. And Samuel Jackson had to come save him, because Bruce Willis had a shirt sign that said I hate N-words on there. And people started things like that. But he was doing the same thing the guy was doing in the video. And the reason why I don't go out there, because I used to do Man in the Streets, is because these people are just way too violent, way too extreme. And I'm going to put my livelihood in jeopardy because I can't hold back. I can't be an Andre Williams out there without doing something that's going to cause some damage. You come at me, like you're gonna get taken out. So I stopped doing the Man in the Street. These people are just they're violent. I mean, they took out Charlie Kirk for just speaking. He wasn't doing anything wrong, and people justify it, and they always bring up something stupid like January 6th. But at the end of the day, we see it with our own eyes. People are not willing to have a conversation.
Well, you bring up a good point about January 6th. So everyone, I want to show you one of Jake Lang's best of moments because he was there during January 6th.
The fuck is he doing?
He's beating up the cops. He was one of the most violent ones. And then,
really?
And he says that his trial was held up. But I'm here. It's not true. And I'm going to play this other clip. He held up the trial. He did things to delay it. And he grifted and raised millions of dollars and said, well, I'm raising it for the other January 6 people. And from what Enzo told me, who has friends with the ex-January 6 people, he never gave any of them a dime. So, Ken, should we feel sorry for this guy? Was he using his First Amendment right?
Yeah, I feel sorry. I don't know about that, but I will say it's moments like that that make people have a change of heart, though. Like when a person, you have to have a strong belief in something to put yourself out there like that, right? And the people that helped him, that something like that can make an individual change their heart. Because for those that are in the Christian faith, didn't Paul have a change of heart, right? Wasn't he a person that did things to people, right? Did he have a change of heart?
Nah, don't say that. Last week you were saying how serial killers can't go to heaven.
No, I'm saying that part too. Two things could be true, but I'm saying this is an opportunity that could potentially the individual could have a change of heart. I mean, these moments like that are televised because it's irony in it. You know what I'm saying? It's a weird outcome. And there's outcomes like that make that type of individual change their mind about something.
Well, yeah. Well, we're going to get into who he is. I'm going to have Mia respond to this next clip. This is them explaining who he is.
For those who did not know, this is Jake Lang. I'm sure you've been seeing this story pushed just about everywhere. What you need to know about Jake Lang is he claims to be that Christian white knight, but really he is an Orthodox Jew disguising himself as a Christian to create conflict between the Muslims and the Christians. Jake Lang has kissed the wall. Here is a video of Jake Lang on the other side of things. Brags about his sister being in the IDF. When the devil wants to deceive us, he first deceives himself.
So, Mia, this is what a lot of people are claiming. They're saying that he's paid to incite violence. I don't really care that he's Jewish or not Jewish, but it is important to note that because he says he's doing this for Christian reasons. What do you think about him? I know. Do you think that this was going against his First Amendment rights, and why?
I mean, everybody's got the right to say whatever they want, constitutionally speaking. However, that doesn't shield you from repercussions and reactions from what you say. I mean, you can get thrown in jail, you can get your ass beat. I mean, say what you want at your discretion. I mean, he said what he said, and and everybody else's reaction was "fuck you, I'm gonna beat your ass." I mean, I can't help that. I'm glad we live in a country where he can be a Nazi, because that means he can say whatever he wants to say. But I mean, don't be in the kitchen if you can't cook. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Don't be a Nazi if you can't knuckle up. Like, that's common sense. Like, don't get in a boxing ring if you can't box. I mean, maybe he'll change his tune. Clearly, he's not a good Nazi. Or maybe he'll go with, what is it, Jake Paul or Logan Paul, and he'll do some boxing with them. I don't know. Maybe they can hang out. He can get their trainer's name so he can learn how to box just like them.
Maybe he was mad he didn't get to go be in sunny Miami with his other crew. We'll talk about that Wednesday night. Too much to say tonight. All right, Skeptic, this one is for you. This is the black man explaining why he helped him, and we'll talk about it.
I just can't, right? Divine entity. Now, at the end of the day, my job.
Way to be fucking brave and trying to fucking do something.
Yeah, my job, my purpose on earth, and my spirit told me I'm the son of God, right? A lot of people gonna think I'm lying, and I just showed you again.
I got you.
It shows you again that I don't have to lie, but I move off love and unity, and that's how Jesus walked. If y'all Christians, that's how Yahweh walked. If y'all Africans and y'all roots, Yahweh walked just showing love regardless of what somebody did to you. When they crucified him on the cross, he still forgave everybody for their sins, and they down there killed him. So it's like, we can't treat hate with hate. Love overcome hate any day. When one motherfucker starts showing love, everybody show love. But if one person hate, everybody hate. It's a domino effect, just like a domino. That's that, but it was my job and my purpose.
We stole his watch.
Hey, let me see the watch. Hey, let me see the watch. Hey, watch this.
Stole his watch?
Hey, come here. Hey, someone come here, Mello. Hey, check it out. You, come here. Yeah, you, yeah. Yeah, so look, keep that on. At the end of the day, this what he came. I don't know what this shit is. A fake ass, what they call these watches? Out of my protect. The world is fake. You hear me? All this shit is fake. Stop paying y'all money for this shit. You feel me? But that's the end of that, man. At the end of the day, just show love to anybody. No matter what they done to you, just show love. You're gonna get blessings.
Hey, I don't even know you. I don't even get to off this. I just put on here.
That's how deep it's gonna get. I'm gonna leave it at this. I'm very deep, right? So we go back all the way down to slavery, right? My last name is Blackwell, and Blackwell was the first slave owner to ever own a slave. He was white. Now I'm gonna go back to this to show you, he's my brother. He's my brother. You know what I mean? Regardless of the color. He's my brother. Through slavery, his people fucked my people. Babies is a generational thing, bro. We're family at the end of the day.
So, Skeptic, what do you think about that? Are we family? Should he have saved him? What do you think?
Well, I do want to say there's this quote that said, "Try Jesus, don't try me," because I throw hands. And I think that Jake Lang, whatever his name is, I think that he didn't understand that people are fed up. Like, people are fed up. And if you want to come in and instigate it, then be able to take it whenever they take out their frustration on you. Like, he was out there doing Yahtzee salutes and like literally saying things that he knows the majority of those people don't agree with him. So like, be a man, don't cry, and tuck your tail and then go run into some stranger's car. No, that's the time to be tough. If you really stand on what you stand on, you should have stood on it. And it seemed like you were backing up and all your friends left you there by yourself. So some of the messaging there got lost in translation. So I think that that's interesting, that people can be tough online. They can say that they stand for certain things, but like in real life, when it comes to it, they really are not that tough. They really are, cowards. So I don't know. I am type of person that will forgive, but I can't I don't think that like any community is a monolith. I wouldn't speak for my community. I wouldn't tell immigrants that you have to forgive ICE because people have lost their life and loved ones because of deportations. So I think every person is a world, right? As long as my thought process, I think we have to vote these people out. And I think that if anything, I look at America for who she really is. The fact that America still thinks that immigrants came in here to invade a country, but then they invaded Venezuela. The fact that America believes that women of color are DEI hires because they voted in a way that told us this is what America believes. Like, I take America for who she truly is. And I think that in order for us to make actual change, we have to vote in people that look like us. Or this is going to be my daughter's future also.
Woo! You said a whole lot, Skeptic.
I only be confused about one thing, right? When we be
Yeah, I was
seeing
gonna ask
these
you,
like,
what do you think about what he said? As somebody that's FBA, what do you think as somebody that came from a descendant of slaves? Do you agree with what he said?
so like him saying that really wouldn't have made me beat him up. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't have. I think people get what they asking for. So am I gonna put my life? I got kids. I'm not gonna put my life in danger for somebody who went out here and knowingly is attracting this type of energy. You know what I'm saying? He's getting this because this is what he wants from the universe. But I'd be so confused when we see these small, timid conservative dudes get beat up, because I be thinking the conservative party is the party of keeping that fire. Like, they Second Amendment friendly.
They are, but the real conservative. But let me tell you something.
I be waiting on them to blow
Conservatives wouldn't have went there. The real conservatives wouldn't have went there. They would have minded their business. And I think there are a lot of people, just like with the left, with Skeptic. The real Democrats are not the ones tearing shit up. Let's be honest. It's the far left extremes that are destroying the country. Am I right, Skeptic? Do you think that there's real Democrats out there tearing shit up, or are they Antifa?
I mean, I feel like there's extremes in every group of thought, right? But I only see Nazis and, you know, like the Triple K members in one group of people, and that is the Republicans. Like, it is what it is. Not every racist is a Republican, but more than likely, if he's a racist, he's probably a Republican. And like, that tells me something.
I completely disagree with that. That's nonsense.
But you didn't
I
really answer
disagree
the
with
question, though.
I disagree with that too.
The question is,
you ain't looking at the other
Democrats
group.
can be they can be so far left that they can cause distraction. So answer the question. We're not talking about Republicans. We're not even talking about Triple K. The direct question was Democrats. There's a difference between a run-of-the-mill Democrat, a corporate person, run-of-the-mill Democrat, or an alt-left person who thinks throwing a Mazel Tov cocktail at someone is appropriate response because they don't like who somebody else voted for or what they said or whatever. So answer that question. Do you think
I have FBA data that tells me that the radical right tends to have more violent outbursts. I'm giving you the answer. I'm about to give you the answer if you'll let me talk.
He's talking about the fake
you
data
let me land
stuff.
my plane, and I will give you my
so
answer.
silly, man.
I have data from the FBI that literally tells you that they have had more violent outbursts than radical right groups, extremist radical right groups, than they have had in the left. So if I go based off of data, then more than likely, if I see an outburst that is violent, I'm going to assume that it's from the radical right.
But that's not the answer to the question. The literal question is, there are two types of Democrats.
We got to start with the data stuff, because what we read don't necessarily mean that it's true. There's
it
data
does.
on both sides.
Data matters. The facts matter.
I know, but there's data on both sides from credible sources. We have this side from credible people saying one thing, we have this side from credible people. If you only read one thing and not reading everything and actually using logic and seeing what's really going on, and we just read something and they say, oh, science said this. This is what the data says. This is what this says. And we automatically frame it as a fact, and everything else goes out the window. That's not a legitimate talking point, because it's FBI statistics. I said it's a complete opposite of what you said. We have to stop with this repeating data talking points and talk about the facts.
I know, but I wasn't even talking about Skeptic. Why did you take it to the right? I'm defending the Democrats right now. I'm saying these are not Democrats we're seeing out there, and you taking it to another thing, which tells me maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is Democrats out there.
And you know it's crazy.
No,
though?
because the thing to say though,
a conservative move. That's usually a right move. The joint you just did.
But I'm gonna say this to say that data doesn't matter, or that like we shouldn't care about
No, it
the
does matter.
studies that we have is honestly like a straw man, because it does matter. If
Yeah.
I'm seeing, I actually have seen videos of them, and there are ICE agents that are out among the people that are out there burning American flags that are trying to instigate violence. So if I go and I look at
Send
the
me those
numbers,
clips. I want to see. Send me
yeah,
them.
I'll send them to you. I have like
matter.
3 of them. I have one where they actually walked with the guy that burned the flag and followed him, and he covered his face and started walking off like he's leaving. And they're like, "Hey, why did you just burn the flag? Who did you come with? Why are you out here?" And they have another one where they actually was whooping ass, and the guy were like, "Hey, he's one of us. Stop hitting him." And then ICE agents pull up and take him in their van. So obviously, like, the people that say things, and I always say this, the right always puts out information and they're really deflecting. They're really telling you the way that they think, because they're the ones doing these things. They do it in politics. They do it in the laws that they pass. They literally told us we were being invaded by Venezuelans, and then Republicans went to Venezuela and invaded them and took their president. Like, they're literally
right.
telling you their mindset.
We gonna switch
I
gears.
just want
We
to say
gonna-
one thing. Data
Go ahead.
does matter. Statistics does matter. All this stuff matters. Very, very important. But we also have to understand that what exactly are we looking at? There are FBI crime statistics that says the opposite of what I say. And there's FBI crime statistics that says the exact same thing. As we cannot be biased in what we're looking at and only look at one side. And also, we have to apply logic. I'm saying that be open to all the data and then form your opinion. Don't just look at this and it fits the agenda and go with it. Look at everything is what I'm saying. And I look at everything on every side. Every morning when I wake up, I'm doing a 3-hour deep dive into everything, looking at both sides of the argument, debates, I read the Constitution, I look at the DOJ reports, I look at all these things, not just from the right, but also from the left. And I also watch credible people debating, and I debate people. So that's all I'm saying, is that the data could be misconstrued, it could be biased toward the agenda that you've already believed.
So do you have that data that contradicts what I'm saying? Because I'd like to see it.
Rippy,
Okay,
why don't you send it
to
in
me?
the chat? Send it in the team chat.
I'll send it to Nora. And also, we also have eyes.
Yeah. So the other thing,
And I say go through my comments.
yeah, I think the one thing that disappointed me the worst is Jay Klang went on Alex Jones last night, and he wasn't thankful. He said that the people that were helping him robbed him. So let me play the Muslim man that helped him.
War with their neighbors, I would not support that. Doesn't mean that I don't love them fundamentally and intrinsically. All of that. I do not want that to happen.
Do you support what Jake was saying?
No, absolutely not. I'm completely against what he's saying.
So why were you?
I'm a Muslim. I don't.
Why were
Because
you
we have to
protecting
protect each other. We shouldn't get to this point, guys. I got to go and help him out. I have to.
So Ken, what do you think that a Muslim man helped him, his whole thing? I know you were there that night that Andre came. Yeah, you were there that night when Andre came, and they talked about how they went to these protests and blah blah blah. So what do you think?
I think that you got people out there that are convicted by things. You know what I'm saying? So just like someone said a trans person helped them, there are some people that are convicted by things. The same people that are pulling him and trying to put hands on him, they got beliefs and they're convicted by things too. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I have shit better to do. You know what I mean? Like that is when you look on the class scale, being out there with the mob, that's what the lower class does. You know what I mean? You're part of the science experiment. You know what I mean? The movers and shakers are not about to do that. The people that are controlling the world with pens, they're stroking the pen. And then the common man and woman goes out there and does that. Those people need to be talking to each other. If you're going to be around each other, you need to be talking to each other and see where you align in the class strata. How's your money? Yo, what kind of interest rates you getting? Like, y'all need to talk business to each other, right? Because there's two types of America going on, those that have and those that have nots, right? So if the have nots who are meeting up, there's only one conversation we need to have. How can we get some shit? Other than that, don't even go around each other.
I fucks with you, Ken. I like you, bro.
Ken said he not poor enough to be out there in that cold. I don't blame you.
But wasn't Martin Luther King out there also protesting though?
Martin Luther King when?
Whenever they did the march.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so
last time I checked, Martin Luther King and all of our ancestors, those of many of whom are still alive to this day, were not beating up cops. They were not breaking into cars. They were not breaking into banks. They were not committing $3 billion worth of property damage.
Right.
They weren't cussing. They were linking arms. They were chanting. They started ground roots in churches, in schools. These don't ever soil Martin Luther King with what these extremists are doing. That's disingenuous.
I said protest. I said protest. It was a protest.
Whatever we're doing. Don't no. That is so far removed.
I agree.
It's
It's
so
not the
crazy,
same.
dude. The crazy disingenuous thing is these people think that they're like MLK, like they're carrying his mantle. This man changed the world without ever having to cuss somebody out. This man congregated over millions of people of all stratospheres together, chanting, singing, religion, doesn't matter. He changed the world without ever having to punch somebody in the face. And that's what people don't understand, is he knew violence begets violence. So if I am violent, the cycle of violence is going to continue at me. Optics matter. The pictures matter when they're flashed internationally of us being sprayed, of us being bitten by dogs, of us being beaten by batons. But here we are, still chanting, still linked, dressed properly, and moving forward because we will prevail. And that is the one thing that these modern protesters don't quite understand, is you can change the world without having to be a degenerate. And we've proved that. All of us are here with our civil rights. All of us are here because our ancestors and our living relatives, grandparents, aunts, great aunts, uncles are still alive, did this.
I
Rippy,
you
said
me.
a lot.
I fuss with you, Mia.
He said an MLK failed in a nonviolent approach. It didn't work. Do you agree with that statement? I don't agree.
Who said that? No, I see it on there.
I left this in the chat.
No, I disagree with that. I definitely, but I have
your own
never
personal
mind.
things with MLK. I get it. I've heard it
Yeah,
all. I know he
yeah.
wasn't perfect. But guess what? You want to know who put that report out on him? Racist ass J. Edgar Hoover. So
Yeah,
me,
exactly. I agree. Like I'm
Yeah.
a fan. Like I look up. I think Martin Luther King, what he did was so amazing, and also I give certain people credit. I'm talking about the ones that that was in control of everything, that were writing the speeches, that was pushing the agenda. But what Martin Luther King was able to accomplish, what he was able to do in a non-violent way, I think that's completely fine. Like my hat goes off to him every time. I celebrate Martin Luther King Day. I think he's brilliant. I think it's great what he was able to accomplish with the Civil Rights Act.
But that's also an indicator though too of the love and hip hop era. Like we in everybody's bedroom, right? And I think the people at that specific time, they knew what's up. There's a bigger thing going on. We got to accomplish a goal. What people are doing in their bedroom, I've never heard Coretta Scott King ever come out and talk about that. People are more upset and offended than she was. If she wasn't on podiums condemning her husband, writing books about her husband, how you hurt for somebody else? She ain't never say nothing. That was their business at their time. We live in a love and hip hop era where people be concerned with what people doing in their bedroom. As long as it ain't no babies or nothing in there, look, whatever. Political goals ain't got nothing to do with dick and pussy stuff. People have angles and their shit in the wrong direction.
Right.
Let Coretta be mad at that. You don't even know what their agreement was. You don't know if they had an open relationship. Nobody knows that shit, right? But the point is, keep your mind on the shit that matters. The bedroom stuff won't matter. Love and hip hop politics don't apply when you are trying to move up that class strata because everybody played the game.
That's why I said I'll take my head off to him. I don't mind like all the allegations about infidelity. I never cared about that, never once. My head goes off for the mission that he was able to accomplish, what he was able to do, moving this country forward. When it comes out of race relations, I applaud that. I don't care about Donald Trump sleeping with a porn star either. So I'm not about all that stuff.
By
They
the
do
way,
it on purpose, though. They do it on purpose to to ruin his legacy, and they always do it to black men in America. So like it makes sense that they come out with this. And yeah, you're right. Why are they so worried about it? Why are they so angry? They have this false rage or false narrative of they're angry at this, when in reality they're doing it on purpose to ruin his legacy and to try and put a stink on what he's actually done. But look at Bill Clinton. They never talk about him like that. They make him look like more of a man because that's a white man that did that.
Willie Mandela had a dude on the side. Nelson Mandela did 27 years. Willie Mandela had a dude on the side. You know how politically active she was? She kept money on that man books for 27 years. Look, that again, that's why we need to stay out of people's bedroom. You know what I'm saying? It's about the big picture.
Yeah. Well, speaking of protests and church and MLK, we're going to go to the next topic, which is about Don Lemon. He's under fire. This is them leading a protest in a church. Let's watch.
Beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution, when you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the Civil Rights Movement was about, the Civil Rights Movement was about these very kinds of protests. And for some reason, in our modern era, people think that in order to have protests, you got to be, cordoned off to a certain area and, what time you can protest. There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt, it's to make uncomfortable. And that's what they're doing. And that's what I believe when I say everyone has to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to make people uncomfortable in these times. If you see how uncomfortably and how harsh people are being treated on the streets, you have to be willing to go into places and disrupt and make people uncomfortable.
So pretty much, just to give everyone backstory, in a St. Paul, Minnesota church, a group of anti-ICE protesters disrupted the church service. He was there documenting and live streamed the whole thing. And as you can hear, he pretty much justified it. Oh man, Mia, what's your thoughts? You are not Christian by any means. You believe in Christ. I know we talked about it a little bit, but what do you think? Should Christians raise up and be against this? What do you think about it?
I think what that organization did and what Don Lemon did was despicable. I think there are 3 places that the UN has agreed motherfuckers don't be fucking around: schools, hospitals, places of worship. Those are the 3 collectively in 1966 that we agreed upon in the UN, that you don't bomb, you don't hurt, you don't cause chaos. Those are the 3 places where you're going to find women, children, unsheltered people, people in need: school, hospitals, and places of worship. And the fact that we have people that claim to be of the people, for the people, that love people, allegedly, are now going into places of worship that are constitutionally protected, internationally protected, and causing chaos is crazy to me. And it's a direct violation of the FACE Act. And it's also Article 18, a direct violation of the UN Civil Rights Covenant Act as well. So not only did they break regular federal law, they broke international law by going in there as well. I can cite my sources, leave them in the comments, and read you guys if you need me to. But it's Article 18 of the UN, and it's the FACE Act in the United States. I think it's despicable. It does. Why? I don't get it. Why? These people, Minnesota is 80, statistically speaking, since 1976 through 2024 have voted for Democrats. Since 1976 and 2024, statistics tell us the probability of basically every single person in that church being Democrats, hating ICE, the probability is high, because statistics tell us we're looking at the average, not the exception. So why would you go into a place where all of those people are most likely Democrats? They most likely don't like ICE. Statistics tell us that we're not. And then the Washington Post actually came out and did a video and said that they actually cannot verify that this pastor is actually the same person from ICE, the Washington Post. So this community of this corporation that's paying these inciting people went into a church with non-verified information, because they can't prove it, for a man that physically wasn't there to incite chaos and violence and to scare a bunch of Democratic people. Like, the fuck? Is this the it's the upside down. It's Stranger Things. I'm living in the upside down, because that is so crazy to me, and like a Democratic stronghold, one of the bluest cities in America, to be doing shit like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it gets worse. This is one of the people that organized it and her justification for doing it.
Why are you doing this?
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there, and then we disrupt business as usual. So that's what we're about to go do right now. Demanding justice for Renee Good and letting them know that this will not stand. They cannot pretend to be a house of God while harboring someone who is directing ICE agents to wreak havoc upon our community and who killed Renee Good, who almost killed a 6-month-old baby. Enough is enough. I am a reverend on top of being a lawyer and an activist. So I come here in the power of the Almighty God.
Well, I rebuke her in the name of Jesus, in the name of Almighty God. How about that? Doc, as a Christian, what's your thoughts? You support this?
I don't know if I support it, but I'll tell you something that I learned. God puts you in all the places you're supposed to be. So maybe it's not for her, but anybody in there may hadn't stumbled in the church any other way, and they might go in there and find a connection with God. I lived a different life before I found God. You know what I mean? So how can I judge anybody and say, when I know you could find God anywhere? And I found God at some of the weirdest places. My religion changed when I lost my father. I found my faith when my father died. And people asked me how much, and God showed up for me in a way that was different. So somebody in there might have got something. You know what I mean? And you might not see that on the camera. Sometimes that's not on the camera, but you could find God in some of the strangest places.
Well, you know, that was very sweet. Nice that you shared that, Doc. I hope that some of these people did find God. You're right. It's not for us to convince someone to go to God, right? Christ shows up to who he wants, when he wants. But let's watch them screaming.
Fuck you, you fucking traitor! How dare you have a rainbow fucking umbrella, you Nazi bitch! How dare you try to steal that from our people! Fuck you, you Nazi traitor! You
You indoctrinate these children so you can fucking rape them. Isn't that what it is, you fucking asshole? Is that what it fucking is, man? You think you're gonna bring your kids here and we're gonna spare you while you fucking support the bombing of children in Gaza? You fucking these fucking Nazi little bitches. Goddamn, be smarter than your parents. Your parents are fucking Nazis. You're such a Nazi little bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you think you can just destroy our nation? Why do you think you can bring back white supremacy? Why do you think you're better than these people?
So these are regular Democrats? Democrats.
Oh, it's funny, fucking Nazi piece of shit. What are you worshiping? You're fucking taking fucking whiskey shots with Hezgath. Be honest. Look at it. He laughed. He laughed because he knows it's true. You guys aren't fucking worshiping. Look at this bitch ass. You're worshiping. Look at this fucking little bitch ass little American pin. Look at this little bitch ass kid. Look at him.
They're asking if you can just
Yes. Yeah, move on, you punk ass bitch. You will be judged not by a God, but by a court of law, you fucking Nazi fuck. You can't tell me to stop. This is the sidewalk. This is the First Amendment. You are preventing my First Amendment rights. I am protesting. You are preventing me from practicing my First Amendment rights. You are violating the Constitution. You little bitch ass. What's your fucking excuse? I'm not near him.
You don't have to be that close.
Look at this little bitch putting his hands on me. Little punk ass bitch. All right, what's your fucking excuse? Why do you fucking go to a church that preaches? No, we know. What about the nationalism? What about the Christian nationalism? What is it about?
Is that all you got to say?
No, what is it about?
That's all you got to
What
say.
is it about, asshole?
I don't need to discuss
See, you won't defend yourself because you're a punk ass little bitch fucking Nazi. Fuck you, you fucking Nazi fucking piece of shit. Shame on you. You think you're fucking superior than people? You ain't shit, bitch. You ain't fucking shit.
Okay, Rippy, after seeing that clip, you think these people saw Jesus in our God, honey?
I just think it's funny that he says a violation of the Constitution when they ran into the church to protest. That's actually a violation of the Constitution. I mean, the churches are private property. First Amendment does not apply there. And Don Lemon repeated that garbage. The problem is Don Lemon knew that what he said was an absolute lie. But he also know that his viewers are too stupid to understand that. Now, these people they all just repeat the same thing over and over and over. That's the reason why I think there's something going on. Something's being orchestrated. I don't think this stuff is real. I really don't think these people are real. I really
That's
don't.
what Kelly said.
I don't know what to believe anymore because it doesn't make any sense. They have to know that using this language, Hamid attack, a Nazi, pedo, all this other stuff, it doesn't work. Donald Trump, Democratic people won the election with them using these terms, trying to place the right with Nazis and racism. When people start opening their eyes and they realize that's not true, none of these talking points work anymore. So why are they still saying it? They have to be smart enough to realize that this crap don't work. That's the reason why I think it's something else that's going on.
I don't think so. Skeptic, you're on live with all the people on the left. They use the Nazi term a lot, right?
When it applies.
They still use it, Rippy. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did just see a guy do a Nazi salute and then get thrown out of a city. So I think
it doesn't mean anything now. Charlie Kirk died because of
a Nazi salute and literally saying that he hates everybody that the Nazis hated. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you're talking about one person. Like I can bring up one person from both sides. All I'm saying is that type of rhetoric is what got Charlie Kirk shot. They had fascist on a bullet. That's a leftist rhetoric that they use. That type of rhetoric got Donald Trump shot in the ear. That type of rhetoric got me to receive all these threats that I'm getting on my social media. We have to stop.
The rhetoric from him, from Jake Lang, the rhetoric that he is putting out and spewing, the hatred that he's spewing, that's not getting anybody right.
I'm not justifying him. I just mentioned like 4 or 5 different things. You still went back to this one person. I'm not justifying this guy. He's a piece of trash too. I say you can find somebody on both sides. All I'm saying is that this type of rhetoric, these placing labels on these people, does not do any good because it don't apply to anything. It actually diminishes the label. It doesn't mean anything anymore. White supremacy doesn't mean anything. Nazi doesn't mean anything. The more you say it, the less power it has. Because
what does it mean? Like we hear these words. We hear
right.
Oh, that's a liberal. That's a left. Okay, what do those words mean? What do you mean when you say those words? When you say somebody is a Nazi, what does that mean? What's the implications of that? Because everybody sees things in pictures. Now, we know that the average American reads like at an 8th grade level. So the average American, when they're calling something a thing, it's probably not that. Right. It's probably not the thing that they're saying.
Y'all like the word communist and don't even understand what communism is. And y'all call everyone a communist. Oh, that's a communist. What is communism? Do you know? No, they don't know.
Yes, absolutely. We know what it means.
So you see, both sides have verbiage. Both sides use the words.
I would argue if you stopped a random person on the street and ask them, explain socialism, explain communism, explain capitalism, explain what a conservative is.
But they don't realize when it comes
I don't think people could, the average American.
Of socialism in our country, and people don't realize it. So, Skeptic, I know the definition of it. When I use it, I'm using it correctly. I know what it means. And
yeah, I'm just saying, I'm saying that, to say that because people are talking and using words that is causing people to get hurt. It's done on both sides. And I'll say this about what's happening in the church. This administration literally removed the protections. They went back on the church and ICE being able to come into the churches. I need you to stay logically consistent, because if I didn't see you out there mad whenever ICE broke into a church in Georgia and literally told the pastor, if you don't let us into your sanctuary while they were having service, we're going to arrest you and everybody who's out here. If you weren't mad at that, then how are you mad at this? Because I need the consistency to stay there, because I see a lot of people get angry when it's done on the the inverse. But when it happens to the other people, they don't care. They don't bat an eye at that.
What happened inside the church too, and then we can answer that. I'll let Rippy answer why he was not mad and why he's mad now, because this is what it looked like inside the church.
You can see all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit as a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No! Jesus would dine with immigrants. You do not touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't.
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities? Why do I not see you out at Whipple every day protesting this attack on humanity? Where are you? You're sinners. You're pretending to be Christians. But we know you live an easy life, don't you? A very easy life while people are starving. Shame.
I feel like they tell on themselves.
Out
and they don't mean to.
Living real comfortable while the people starve. Living real comfortable while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're all living real comfortable, aren't you? Shame on you.
So, Rippy, I'll let you go, and then I'm gonna have Ken go. Why are you more mad? Because to Skeptic's point, they went into the church. I've heard these stories, so Skeptic's not lying. I'm not saying you ever lie, Skeptic, but I'm saying I can confirm I've also heard of it. What is the difference between that and ICE agents going in and taking people out?
So there's a difference between a protest going on, people going inside the church and protesting their nonsense and to my freedom of speech, which does not apply on private property. But government officials, police officers, local and federal, can go into a church. They can legally go into a church. All they need is probable cause and or a warrant. Even if they don't have a warrant, they have probable cause and go into a church and they can arrest people. And if they have a warrant, they go into a church and they can arrest people. It's a complete difference between such a silly false equivalency. It's a complete difference between people going there to protest, which is not making any difference at all, than the government officials actually going in there and making arrests. It's legally bound by law that they can actually do that.
They used to not do it, but this administration told them that they could. They literally used to respect the fact that it was a religious building, or they wouldn't go into a funeral. They would wait until people would come out and it was over with and then go out and arrest. But literally this administration told them, be smart and you can go into schools, churches, and it's all fair game. Is it all fair game or is it all not fair game? Like, stay consistent with me.
Well, the consistency is this law that I'm talking about has been in place since the 1930s. That's what's consistent about it. Even though Donald Trump said, here, you can actually go inside the administration, you ain't go inside schools and church. It doesn't matter. The law is a law. It's been in place since 1937. That's what consistency is.
I'm saying your fake outrage to this that you did not have whenever it was happening, when ICE officials were going in and intimidating people while they were worshiping their Lord in the way that they do so. That's intimidation when you come in there with a gun and you are literally saying, I will arrest everyone in this place if you don't let me into the sanctuary because the doors are locked. That, you want to talk about intimidation, raising your hands and saying and saying that the preacher's name that has been confirmed by NBC, I want to say it was NBC, that is part of ICE, that he's a director for the ICE in that area, and the fact that they found his information because they broke into a car, into an ICE car or whatever, and knew where he was at, and the fact that he was a pastor is them. I didn't see them intimidating people. Was it disruptive? Yes. They should have removed them and continued with their service. But it's different when a police officer literally comes in and says, I'm taking everyone.
How are they going to remove them when the cops will not do anything? The prosecutors ain't prosecuting right now in Minnesota, and the cops are coming out.
Argument.
No, I'm saying they could have been removed. They could have told those people, we are going to remove you. But they did not do that. They ended their service.
By who?
It's not a false equivalency. Like, for you to say that is wild. It is not. It is not, because a police officer is more intimidating than a person who's protesting with their hands up.
The cops aren't arresting.
It's a law.
They did arrest, and they stopped a pastor because they thought that he was stopping them from entering because their doors were locked. So yes, they have, and it's been multiple incidences where that has happened. I didn't hear anybody outraged at that.
There's a law. It's a law. That's why.
Ken, what you was gonna say?
I'm only talking about the specific footage we're looking at right here, this side right here. My only problem with this is the revolutionaries that I studied was gentlemen, right? So when you, even on the other side, when you're dealing with elders, when you're dealing with children, your political stance is to the establishment. It's not to the commoner. So when they're running up in churches, those are common people, right? They might be on the politically different side as you, but most likely you're on the same class strata. Those are common people. The revolutionary targets the establishment. And when you come around elders and children, you are a gentleman. You're not berating old people. You ain't doing that. Those are still elders. And only time they got affected when it was collateral damage. But the revolutionaries don't target the commoner. You target the establishment. So that kind of language, those, even I'm not Christian. I'll be damned if I get around some church ladies and be talking a certain kind of way. I'm just not. And then especially if I'm pushing my politics, I need them on my side. So when I come to them, I'm gonna come to them a certain kind of way that I'm gonna be a gentleman, because the media is gonna demonize us. And I need the commoner to have an image of me in their head that we are for the people. We're here for the people first. That's not for the people. That's
so
not
Ken,
for,
are they criminals? Someone asked you.
Are they criminals?
Yeah. What would you label them at this point? They're not revolutionaries.
No, there's something like worse than a criminal. It's because I've been a criminal before. There's something worse than a criminal. When elders look at you with disrespect, like I'm not safe with you, that's worse than you being a criminal. The elders and the children don't feel safe with you around. That's worse.
But the pastor was an ICE director, right?
why would-
NBC literally had.
Well, the Washington Post actually refutes that, and I sent the video to the main chat. Washington
Why-
Post could not
Why would
confirm
they? Why would
Yeah,
they be
they're still
criminals?
saying that they have proof that he could be a federal agent, that the pastor's name coincides with a federal agent in that area. And if that is true, can he still be the leader of a nonprofit like movement if he is a federal agent? Like, can those two exist together?
Yes.
I thought
Why would they be-
I thought
why
that
would
you're
they be
supposed to have
criminals?
separation of like church and state.
Well,
I want to say
cared
that
about hold on. Nobody cared about that one police officer and during January 6th who turned out to have this weird daycare that he was running out of his residential home for 17 years. So I mean, you could absolutely, have a side business, whether it's profit or nonprofit, and work for the feds and work privately. I mean, there's no law that says you can't work for the feds and not have a nonprofit private business. You can
But to say that they're just going in there to disrupt, they went in there because he was a
Who
quote unquote
cares?
pastor.
Who cares? Who cares?
No, it matters. It would matter to me too. Like, I lose respect for you if you call yourself a pastor, but you're out here promoting the fact that children are being bombed or like gassed.
Kids. He's a
I don't-
federal.
He's supporting it.
I don't-
He's supporting it.
I don't.
I have a question. Okay, so here we go.
I don't think
Hold
they're
on.
criminals.
Hold on.
I
So
don't
the
think they're
man,
criminals.
right? So the man that we're talking about physically was not even present. So this negates the whole thing because they did all of this for a man that physically wasn't there, right? So at the time of this crazy chaotic incident, the man they're talking about and they're looking for is not even there. So they sabotaged and caused chaos to a bunch of unsuspecting people. They didn't even hit their target for their operation. So I mean, if you're gonna do ops, be fucking intelligent. Don't tell me you have a master's. Don't tell me you used to be a leader of the NCAA. Bitch, clearly you didn't take no pictures because that man wasn't even there. You scared a bunch of people that weren't even relevant to your operation. And the simple fact is, people in the United States have a right to worship. It is federally protected. You cannot intimidate. You can't do anything at all whatsoever. And those people, everything they did, so discourse, intimidation, I mean, they are in blatant violation of the FACE Act and they will get their charges. Period. None of them were police officers. None of them had a reason to be in there. At least a police officer or a federal agent with a search warrant has a reason to be there, which shields them and gives them a little bit of an immunity from the FACE Act. Intelligence tells us that. However, they were not federal agents. They did not have a search warrant. These were ordinary people who were looking for a specific target, who weren't even intelligent enough to realize their target wasn't even there. These are unsuspecting, normal, average Minnesotans who were terrorized in a church.
Go ahead, Doc.
I have a pushback on that, Mia. I have a pushback on that only to say you don't need an invitation to go to a church. So to say these people aren't trespassing, everyone is welcome at church. The Lord says, send me your heathens, send me all of these sinners, send me these people. These are the people who you want to come to church.
Yes, however, the law says if you interfere and you
how did they interfere? The pastor wasn't there.
There was a pastor there.
You said the pastor wasn't there. Hold on. We didn't see them worshiping. There's no clip of them worshiping.
So sitting down in a chair listening to a man talk isn't worship.
This could have started before they worship. This could be the message that people in the church need. Why I push back on that is because most of y'all said that y'all aren't Christians and y'all don't go to church.
I go to church every Sunday, and you know that, Doc.
I do too. But I'm saying the people who are giving us pushback.
I went to church yesterday.
These people are welcome. These people should be welcome. These people are welcome. And though the message didn't get, sometimes the message that you intend to have go through doesn't always go through. And that could be the Lord's plan. We don't understand the Lord's plan. So to say that these people, that could be God's plan for this service. This could be something that these people learn. You learn something no matter what you go in thinking in church. True. Everybody who goes, you learn something from it no matter what it said. It's always something you needed to hear, something that you felt and you took with you. Lord. And it doesn't matter when I go. It always happens like that. And that's just how it happens in church. So
Doc, you pivot me to a good video. I'm gonna let you respond to this. This is the man one of the people that led the protest. This is what he had to say.
Think your little death threats are going to intimidate me? You know how many fucking times I should have been dead? I'm a fucking combat infantry veteran. I'm lucky I fucking made it home. My life has been hard. You can't scare me. You can't fucking intimidate me. And even if you do come for me, and even if you do fucking kill me, as Fred Hampton said, you can kill the revolutionary, but not the revolution. All power to the people. I will not be intimidated by you fucking Nazis. Fuck you.
He's so scary. I'm terrified of that guy.
Doc, do you think Jesus revealed himself to him? Do you think he's stronger in his faith now?
I think we played a clip earlier in the show of a guy who constantly berates Muslims and black men and transsexual people. And he came to see those people come and be his saviors. So for this man, even if he may be lost at the moment or he may believe something, it ain't nothing God can't change. You know what I'm saying? So when we saying that this man, he could be struggling with anything. Nothing too powerful for God. Nothing too strong for God. So when we come to this, like, it could be a lot of stuff that go on in the world, but I believe nothing is too big for God. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me. So when I see a dude lost, sometimes he needed to be there. Sometimes he got to feel that presence. Sometimes he got to be in the house of the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Doc, I'm going to ask you the question you missed last week because you didn't come when I was there. Do you think that serial killers can repent and still go to heaven?
Yeah.
That was a big controversial thing we talked about last week.
I got to, because it depends on what you would consider a serial killer.
We talked about
I talk more about it in the group chat, but it just depends on what you would consider that. You know what I'm saying? So
we talked about, what's the guy's name, Ken? I can't think.
But isn't that what institutes what a psychopath is? They don't have empathy and they don't feel bad. Like isn't repentance that you have to feel bad about what you've done? So theoretically,
you have to
repent. It's interesting. I will say, man, when I'm out of it, it is interesting theology. The theology is interesting. The framework.
We don't determine who get to heaven. We don't determine who get to heaven. It ain't none of our rules or our opinions that matter. It's dependent on the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I'm not going there. Because if I look over and I see Ted Bundy, I'm flipping the table.
That's what I said.
I'm flipping the table, bro. If
Doesn't
Ted
matter.
Bundy, I'm flipping
Not
the
I stayed
table.
away from sin and Ted Bundy's up in here. No.
Doesn't
Something's
work.
wrong.
I'm flipping the table.
All right, so
was up on the cross next to Jesus. He repented. He said he asked Jesus for salvation, and Jesus granted it to him.
But
the Lord,
psychologically speaking, though, like psychopaths don't feel bad in repentance. In order
but
for you to have salvation, is repentance, born again, and being reborn, right? In the spirit.
Dahmer said he did before he died.
but this
you
why
can't if you're a psychopath. You
this
don't
why I
feel
say
bad
that,
for what you
right?
did.
This why I say that the Lord don't give certain constraints on when you could take another life. He don't say when a sniper's looking down that scope and he's fighting for his country. He don't say, "Oh, that's righteous. You allowed to do that." All of that count for the Lord. That's people who determine that. You see what I'm saying? So when do you determine
You know
when
what?
it's a serial killer? You see what I'm saying?
Maybe
We
you
living
are.
for man.
Maybe you are right. Maybe a serial killer can go to heaven. Because when I read the Old Testament, it's a lot of serial killer behavior. People getting flooded, people getting washed away, babies dying. It's a lot of serial killer behavior. So I don't even know where I fit in this conversation because you're talking about worlds and shit like once upon a time type stuff. I'm like, wait, heaven is like.
I'm not okay. We'll move on. I'm not trying to go down the rabbit hole. All right, we're gonna get back to Don Lemon, another person that needs repentance. Jesus. All right, this is him explaining his involvement and denying it.
Administration and the fake news magas are losing their mind over something that's not even true. So let me just make it clear, because this a assistant attorney general, I don't know, gosh, what's her name? Something Hammett, Gillen or whatever. So I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization. That's it. It's called journalism. First Amendment, all that stuff. For all of you people who believe in the First Amendment, absolutist, there you go. So why don't you talk to the actual person who is in charge of the organization and whose idea it was to have the protests at the church before you start blaming me for stuff for which you have no idea.
All right, based on everything you know, Rippy, should we blame Don Lemon?
No, we shouldn't blame Don Lemon. He just a piece of trash. The guy's a loser. So no, we shouldn't blame him. I mean, everybody will just follow suit. But he's full of crap.
He said no, we shouldn't, but I just hate his guts. Like, dang.
No, the guy's he's a loser now. He got kicked off of CNN because nobody was listening to what he had to say. Now he's out there with a bunch of nobodies that's out there being paid to protest. But he just mentioned the First Amendment. He knows for a fact that the First Amendment does not count in this particular situation. He knows what the Constitution says, but he also knows that his subscribers and his I'm actually a subscriber too, because I like to hear what he has to say because I listen to both sides. But his fans don't know.
You're a fan of his?
No, I'm not. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I found him. I like to listen to everybody. That's my thing. Of course, I'm on the right. I'm a Trump supporter, but that doesn't mean I don't listen to what Bernie Sanders. I have to understand everybody's argument. Charlie Kirk always said, "Hey, you have to understand your opponent's arguments." True. And I just feed it.
My person is good trouble. He's interesting to me. He's funny. Skeptic knows who he is.
My problem with this is because it said when Don Lemon was working at CNN, he was making between 4 and 7 million, and his payout in 2023 was 24.5 million. So when you got my problem with that is from that position, your contribution can look different. You have to talk economics. What are you talking about? Use a rich dude coming down here with the lower class people acting like their day-to-day is your day-to-day. It's not. I got a problem with that. If the rich dude is going to come around, the commoner, talk about some money. Talk about economic infrastructure. I don't need the rich dude on the front line. I need the rich dude making us rich. Period. Because the more money we get, a lot of these problems, these political problems, go away.
Yeah. That's real shit.
And not only did Don Lemon beef with all of MAGA, now he's beefing with Nicki Minaj.
Oh boy.
And her response to all of this and the language that she used. I think it's interesting just because Nikki has been, over the last couple of months, made it clear that she is now publicly supporting, and I think maybe she has all along, but now publicly making known her support for the Trump administration and even the MAGA movement. The choice of words that she used to go after you, I'm not surprised she went after you.
Homophobic. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think you have to black it out. You should show it to people. She called me Don, sea sucker lemon is disgusting. Look, this is what I'll say to Nicki Minaj. I normally don't respond to things like this, but I'm going to do it this time. I think Nicki Minaj has made it very clear how she feels about African Americans in this country. I don't think she's one of them, obviously, and she should, under Trump's rules, she should be deported because I don't think, reportedly, that she is a legal citizen here. She is undocumented,
we're gonna keep it
and so
here.
she has shown her disdain for African Americans. So why are you supporting her? Why are you buying her records? She's also supporting. I have lots of gay friends who love Nicki Minaj. Wow. Why are you supporting this homophobic, bigoted, ignorant woman? You should not be supporting her. Nicki Minaj, this is clearly out of her depth. She doesn't understand politics. She doesn't understand journalism. And I'm not surprised that she is weighing in on something that is beyond her capacity. What I will say to her is, because she put a doll, I think she put the Chucky doll in there, a better symbol that should have been represented in that picture is a pick-me doll, because Nicki Minaj is a pick-me. She will do anything that is expedient for her politically. And again, she's ignorant. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's always weighing in on things that she doesn't know about. Nicki Minaj should just sit the fuck down. And by the way, isn't she married to an alleged pedophile? And she has the nerve to say something disparaging about and something homophobic. I'm pretty sure that maybe that's part of the reason that she is cozying up to the Trump administration for some sort of lenient.
Oh man!
Hey,
Okay, in the chat.
I just want to say one thing.
Don Lemon said, "Clock it."
Okay.
Yeah.
But widen the sheets, because Don Lemon's married to a very white man. What were you gonna say, Rippy? And then I'll have Skip to go.
I was just going to say, well, first of all, nothing. But this whole thing about, first, he's calling for Nicki Minaj deportation. After you just at an ICE protest, anti-ICE protest. Like, listen to y'all are freaking ridiculous. But this whole thing about her husband being a convicted pedophile, what happened was he was 16 years old in the 90s, and he was dating a 16-year-old or 15-year-old girlfriend, and then he was forcefully owned to her. Now, her brother is a convicted pedophile, but you can call him like an essayer, but don't call him somebody a pedophile when that's not really considered. Because I think they were actually both 16 in the 90s.
You know who the pedophile is, though? Her brother. You know what the brother did, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just said that. Like he could be called that. But yeah, we just gotta get our facts straight. Now he was just forcefully on with his girlfriend. They were both 16 years old. I'm not justifying it. He served his time, but there's a difference between her brother that slept with the underage girl that was way underage and who's a convicted pedophile.
His daughter, his stepdaughter. Let's be clear.
Oh yes,
he went
even
and
worse.
he was sleeping with the stepdaughter when the mother was at work. He's disgusting, and
Exactly.
she should denounce him. And I'm denouncing him. I got to denounce my disgusting Caribbean people. I love my Caribbean people, but I got to denounce it. So, Skeptic, what you think about that? The streets was dragging old Don Lemon. They say he's woke in the streets, but white in the sheets.
It's still, I still disagree with her saying that, because if a man said that to me, even true or not, it's still disrespectful AF. And like nobody wants to be, said anything. Like even like the way that people give compliments, like down south, men can be real like disrespectful when it comes to certain things. I don't care. I don't care if it's true or not. Like don't be saying that to me. I will say, I think the craziest part to me about Nicki Minaj is the fact that she put her foot in the mouth, like her foot in her mouth with what she said to Erica Kirk as a widow. Like I if I were her, I would have taken that as the universe giving me a hint to stay out of politics. This is not your thing, okay? Calling the president like handsome where? I'm sorry. What are you talking about? And I was let down because I was a Nicki girl. I really was. I know all the songs. I know the lyrics. And I'm just like, I'm cool on it because I can separate the artist from certain music, but her personality is all up in the music. And after I heard that from her, I just was like, I'm cool.
Damn. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I got 2 more clips. We're gonna wrap up soon. But this was Don Lemon. Like, this is why they're saying he's guilty.
Administration and the fake news magas are losing their mind over something that's not even true. So let me just make it clear, because this assistant attorney general, I don't know, gosh, what's her name? Something Hammett, Gillen or whatever. So I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization. That's it. It's called journalism. First Amendment, all that stuff. For all of you people who believe in the First Amendment, absolutist, there you go. So why don't you talk to the actual person who is in charge of the organization and whose idea it was to have the protest at the church before you start blaming me for stuff for which you have no idea. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
And we all have the address, right?
Yes.
Everybody has the address?
So they're getting the operation together. Again, this is an operation that is secret, that they invited folks out. Can't tell you what is going to happen, but you're going to watch it live unfold here on the Don Lemon Show. That is what I could say. I turned our camera off of them because they're giving some critical information here. But there we go. Everybody's ready to go. Let's go. Okay. Thank you guys thanks for allowing me to be here. Thank you guys.
Okay.
How are you?
Good.
to see you. We're on. We're not saying what it is, what's going on, but thank you. Tell us why you're doing this.
So
this is Nakima Levy Armstrong. She's on the show
Nakima
on Friday.
Levy Armstrong, civil rights attorney, longtime activist here in the community. And, we protest and do activism in all kinds of ways. This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there. And then we disrupt business as usual.
Okay, so we're going to go to the operation again. We're not going to give any of the information away. But seatbelt. Don't give anything away. But we're doing this clandestine secret operation. And, they have found out some information that they want to careful. It's very slippery. Very slippery. They found this operation. They found out some inside information, right?
Yeah.
And so they're going to. You know where you're going?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, good. But again, this is just the beginning of this clandestine operation that they're doing here because of some inside information that they got. So this is going to be very interesting. But this is this is just very rough, off the cuff. IRL. This is a true IRL because it's not produced. We don't know what's happening. We kind of do, but we don't know how it's going to play out. Right. So we'll get to see some of the what happens after this sort of surprise.
It'd be good if you had your meta glasses on.
I do have
inside.
them.
All right, guys. After watching this clip, raise your hand if you think Don Lemon should be prosecuted. Only one. Oh, wow. Mia's doubling down. Mia, why did you raise your hand?
Because he knew exactly what he was doing. So if we're going to keep it a buck and we're going to match energy for energy, there were 8 journalists during January 6th that were prosecuted. And the courts said in their decision, journalism does not prevent you from being prosecuted for being places. So we're going to match that energy, baby. So using that thought process and the precedent already set from those cases, he can't hide behind journalism because the court said that is not an excuse for you to be at a place that you should not be at. And then if we look at federal law, the FACE Act tells you you can't intimidate or interfere in a place of worship. He was part of it. He was there. He knew the organizer. He was aware of the address. He was very involved. And he knew when he had a chance, once they pulled up to the church and he saw it was a church, he had the chance to say, hey, this might not be a good idea. You know what I mean? Like, and he still chose to do it and film it. I'm sorry, but that is, the FACE Act is it's very clear. And people also forget, and it's funny that he cited the First Amendment. People always think the First Amendment is the freedom of speech. The very first line in the First Amendment is freedom of religion, because that was the most important part of the founding of this country, was not the freedom of speech, baby. It was the freedom of religion. That's what they cared about most, is you cannot infringe, intimidate, or interfere in Americans' way to worship. I'm sorry, but heads need to roll and everybody needs charges for feds. If we don't make an example of these people, no places will be safe. We will see them go to hospitals because they see a doctor on some Reddit. They will use this as a precedent. So I'm sorry, but we're taking it way back. You know how they used to do public hangings to let motherfuckers know we're going to cut your hand off if you steal, and motherfuckers be walking around the market in Greek times with no fingers. We need to be aggressive, because we need to let them know you cannot do this. Hospitals, schools, and places of worship. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care if it's a synagogue. I don't care if you're Hindu. I don't care if you're whatever the Asians believe over there. You need to be able to worship in this country that was founded on being able to worship freely without interference. That is your right. And they all need to be prosecuted, and hopefully they do that.
Ken, what's your thoughts? Why did you not raise your hand? Why do you think that we shouldn't prosecute Old Don?
Because I just don't have like police shit with me, so I don't like people going to jail and stuff like that. Like, I just know how to handle people in different ways. I don't like people going to jail. I don't profit off that. You know what I'm saying? My only thing with that is, if I don't take a movement serious if you allow people that you know could be compromised, right? You allow him, you could use him for press, but having him in your inner circle, right? This dude was part of the establishment. He will rat on y'all. He will tell on you. Like this can't be revolution. It can't be, because if it's revolution, things are a little tighter, or what this is, it looks like it could be some paid shit. You know what I mean? Not even gonna hold you, because I will keep a person like Don Lemon at bay. I will use them to feed information because I know he got an audience or whatever, but allowing him in our inner circle, what our most important planners and our people and our most precious assets, that can't be real, because he's gonna rat.
Yeah, because now he knows who's in charge.
No, man,
what their names
that's
are.
not real.
I agree with you. That's a good point. Last clip, guys. This is Glenn Beck interviewing a prosecutor and what they had to say.
The timeline here. This DOJ has continued a number of investigations and secured 62 prosecutions so far, convictions, I should say. There are other ongoing prosecutions going up, and what you do typically in federal law enforcement, even state law enforcement, is you get the lower level criminals and then you go up the food chain. So when there's plea agreements with these people, they have a requirement typically to cooperate with federal law enforcement, and I can assure you that you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. So the rhetoric out there from, my allies who are like, oh, nothing is happening, there'll be no arrests, LOL, that's not true or fair. This DOJ has actually, first of all, sticking to the attacks on houses of worship. We in the Civil Rights Division, under Pam Bondi's leadership, have convicted numerous people for attacks on Christian houses of worship, on beheading a statue of Mary and baby Jesus, and thwarted several attacks. And on the Minnesota fraud front, numerous convictions, numerous investigations. Now we're dealing with this. And it's a target-rich environment. And we're dealing with, frankly, some judges on the bench who slow roll signing arrest warrants, who don't agree with the politics, and who don't, frankly, agree with federal law. And so we have to then get wrong rulings and then go to the Court of Appeals and get those corrected. It's just a process. And I know people are impatient and they think, they want to see arrests every day. Keith Ellison and his team could have arrested people yesterday. and they didn't, and we all know they won't. So we're stepping in to do it. I literally flew 2 prosecutors from my office after talking with the Attorney General yesterday. She's 100% behind this. We spoke to the pastor yesterday. We praised him for his calm. We gave him some reassurances, and his congregation asked them if they needed any support. They're victims of a crime. They're victims of several crimes. And we will not let this happen to another church in the United States. It is un-American, unacceptable, and there is a zero tolerance policy for it at this DOJ.
Rippy, will we see any prosecutions?
I don't think so. And the reason why I didn't raise my hand at first, even though Mia 100% correct, I agree with you 100%. But I like the fact that he's out there because he's shedding light to the bullshit that he's a part of, and everybody's waking up to it. They're actually seeing everything. Now it's a discussion that's being had with some information that people didn't even know about, like with the stuff that Mia just brought up. I didn't even think about that. So I think it's from personal petty standpoint, I think it's good to have him out there embarrassing himself. That way more and more people are waking up.
Well, we're going to start doing closing thoughts. We appreciate everybody watching. Thank you so much for coming. For those of you looking for Gray, he's actually off in the middle of an ocean somewhere. He'll be back next week. Wish him happy birthday. Send a super chat. Send a donation at the end of the show. It's his birthday. Here we go. Skeptic, my love, you held it down. Well, you weren't by yourself. Doc and you pretty much were in line. What's your closing thoughts tonight?
Yeah, follow us on TikTok. We've taken a little bit of a break, but we will be back holding lives Wednesday, and I hope that everyone stays consistent. I do think they are going to prosecute. I can tell by the way that these people are, extreme, that they're going to go and prosecute them. And I hope that these people get pardoned the same way the people on J6 were pardoned after they were supposedly held accountable for breaking into a federal building. So I definitely hope that they also get a slap on the wrist. And I will say, what's going on in Minnesota for the people that are there, I've heard so many horror stories of people that are not protesting, that are just trying to live their life. The way that ICE is acting, they're acting unconstitutionally. They shouldn't even be there if the state doesn't want them there. The governor doesn't want them there. The people are saying, we want you out of our state. And I think that they should be respected again. So for the people in Minnesota, my heart is with you. I hope that you guys stay strong and that you guys kick ICE's ass.
Damn. Okay. Ladies first. Mia, what's your closing thoughts?
There are 3 places that are universally known to be safe: schools, hospitals, churches, places of worship. And that is recognized not only in the United States, but that's recognized internationally. It has been since 1966, and we need to stay consistent with that. And people have a right to worship any way they choose in any establishment they choose. And at this point in time, I hope they all go to federal prison. I want the fullest extent of the law. I want the book thrown at these people. I want them to be strung up in the square. I want people to be able to express their First Amendment right in the United States without the fear of random liberals running in there and disrupting them. So hopefully we get some charges, and hopefully this discourages anybody from doing it again. Stay home. It's not really worth it. It really isn't. Stay out of the schools, stay out of the hospital, and stay home.
Stay home, mind your business. Ken, what's your closing thoughts?
Man, have something important to do. Like, keep your eye on the prize. Like, the world is just doing what the world is doing. I'm 42 years old. This shit been going on since I was a baby. It's always something. Have something important to do and keep your eye on the prize. Like, be very, very one-track minded in what you're doing, because the empire is not going nowhere. It's just shifting. It's just turning. Financial resets, things like that. Like, look at your babies. Look at your tribe. Look at the people that matter most to you, and be so focused and aligned with your agenda. And don't let the mob move you. Don't let people gas you to tell you what political things to do and crash out. Yo, have something important to do in the morning. Because when I see people doing that on that way, coming the people at the lower class coming at each other like that, y'all don't got shit to do tomorrow. I know you don't, because if you did, you wouldn't be out there. I got shit to do tomorrow.
Can't say get your money up. Rippy,
Y'all broke.
Y'all broke.
Shout out to the Man Cave. I appreciate everybody on here in New Party. My final thought is, I would say, turn off the TV, get off the internet unless you're looking at something that's actually productive and not biased, because what you see may not be true. What you read may not be true. We can't talk about stats and data, all this other stuff without looking at the full picture and understanding that the people who write these articles, the people that write these things, has an agenda that they're pushing. For example, and except the beginning of September, I actually went out to Washington, D.C., when the National Guards were out there. You turn on the TV, you see all these protests going on. They want the National Guards out. I'm over there. I'm interviewing people, interviewing regular people. They say they love the fact the National Guards are there. There was not 100,000 people out there protesting against them. And the same thing is going on with ICE. People democratically voted for this, but they are trying to push it like everyone is against it. No one is really against it for the most part. It's only the loud ones that they put in our faces. So I would say turn off all the noise and understand these people are being placed there to push a certain agenda, and it's all just smoke and mirrors, and it's all garbage.
That's a great point. And last but not least, Doc, what's your closing thoughts?
About 30% of Americans attend some sort of religious service weekly. Man, I don't care how you get in there. What got to get you to the building? What got to get you there? Find something that you believe in, man. Find God. You know, everybody said they got the key to the Lord. You know, that's gonna be your personal relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things in this world that you could pay attention to, but God is almighty. I know, that's just what I believe in. But I hope you all find the same thing. It's a blessing to be able to have it. You know what I'm saying? So 30%, that's about 70% of people who not. So whatever we got to do to get you in there, shit, bring your ass in there and protest then. Come on. Shit, we'll sing over that.
Oh, my bad.
Doc, you've been real Reverend Al Sharpton for the new year, bro. Shoot a shout out to you. You've been real Reverend Al, man.
I'm in church. I'm in church every week. I'm in church every week for sure. I'm in church every week for sure, but I don't talk about it as much, but I'm in church every week for sure.
Doc, I appreciate you, man. My head is going off right now. I appreciate
Doc,
you, brother.
We should talk about it. You have an amazing testimony. We gotta talk about that one because you've survived. You're like a cat with 9 lives.
One day.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to meeting everybody too in April. I forgot to mention that. I don't know, Doc, are you going to be there? Skeptic, I know you're going to be there. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody.
Yes, guys. So what Rippy is talking about is we will be having IRL content at the end of April. We are working on a documentary as well. Please stick around. We are doing a fundraiser. We have the GoFundMe after. But this was a really, really great episode. Thank you to the men for allowing me to take over. Shout out to Skeptic. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Doc. Shout out to Ken. Shout out to Rippy. This is the Man Cave team. We're only missing one amigo tonight, and that's 85. But I'm sure he's watching Monday Night Football. It's the end of the season. But these are my closing thoughts, guys. What we're watching unfold in Minnesota should worry every American, okay? Because regardless of your party, Democrat, right, left, whatever, it is scary time. When protests turn into disruptions for churches, intimidation of families, and total disregard to the law, we've crossed a dangerous line, okay? There's no law and order at this point. And when high-profile media figures like Don Lemon show up not to calm tensions, not to draw boundaries, but to amplify chaos under the banner of coverage and journalism, we have to ask, who is this really serving? Ken brought up a good point. He's part of the upper echelon, part of the upper class, okay? Journalism is supposed to inform the public, not normalize disorder or excuse it. As a Christian, this hits specifically close for me. It hits home. Church is meant to be a place of worship, refuge, and peace. When churches become targets, like faith spaces are violated, it feels like something deeper is under attack. Not politics, but faith, hope, and belief itself. You can debate immigration policy. You can challenge government authority. But once we abandon respect for law, order, and sacred spaces, We're no longer protesting injustice. We're creating it. And that's a path this country cannot afford to stay on. So God bless. Good night. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Family, we want to take a moment and speak directly to you. What we're building here with the new party is more than just content. It's more than commentary. It's a community, a space for independent voices, honest conversations, and people who are tired of being talked at instead of talked with. Right now, we're raising funds for something very special. Our new party, Castrith. An in-real-life content experience coming April 2026. This trip allows us to bring the team together in person. Many of us who have only worked virtually to create real, high-quality, independent media. Media that isn't funded by corporations. Media that isn't controlled by political parties. Media that answers only to the people. Our goal is $5,000, and every dollar goes directly toward hotel accommodations for the team, food and travel necessities, studio and production space, so we can bring you even better content. Your donation isn't just helping us travel, it's helping us continue. It's helping us stay independent. It's helping us grow. And it's helping us build something that lasts. Right. By the end of this year, our dream is to host a watch party, bringing the team together and opening the doors to the public. Donations like this make that possible. They help turn an online movement into a real-world community. We truly look forward to meeting all of you one day. But for now, we're incredibly excited to finally meet each other, to strengthen this team, too, and to bring you even more meaningful, powerful content. If you believe in independent media, if you believe in community over corporations, if you believe voices like ours deserve a seat at the table, please consider donating to our GoFundMe, becoming a member, or supporting us by buying merch. No contribution is too small. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for believing in us, for rocking with us, and for helping the new party continue to grow. We couldn't do this without you.